Hi, welcome to Astrology for GAN Traders. My name is Olga Morales. Now today is the day of the Capricorn Ingress of the Sun. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, that is your winter solstice, and for us down here in Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere, it's our summer solstice. Now what that means is that we can see that the Sun has moved into sign of Capricorn, and the interesting thing, or the amazing thing this year for us, is that Saturn, the planet that rules Capricorn, is conjunct the Sun. So this is I suppose in terms of an ingress chart, which is what this is, which in astrology is used to forecast for the next 90 days. So it's a seasonal chart. GAN uses seasonal charts for his forecasting. Most astrologers do that anyway in terms of mundane cycles. So let's have a look. This is the fact that they're together at the solstice is obviously a cycle. We know that the cycle of Saturn is 29.5 years. WD rounded it off to 30 years. So I wanted to look. Someone asked me, Olga, how long ago did this combination happen exactly on the ingress, on the solstice? Okay, so I had a look back, but let's just have a look at what this chart looks like on the 90-degree dial, okay? Because I'm a cosmobiologist, this is what I use. Now, the 0 points in this dial has to be the cardinal, because this first 30 degrees are all the cardinal signs. The second 30 are all the fixed signs. You can see all the fixed signs here. And the next 30 are all the mutable signs. Now, anytime we have an ingress chart, the Sun is always going to be at this point. Now, Capricorn is a sign of that astrologers were of the old as well are called the hinges of the earth. Okay, Cancer and Capricorn were called the hinges of the earth. I'll explain that a bit more. But can you see the symmetry in this chart? And at the same time as the Sun and Saturn are together at 0 degrees of Capricorn, across the dial is Jupiter and the nodes. Now they have to be, across the dial has to be 45 degrees. So we have, Jupiter is 45 degrees from Saturn and the nodes 135 degrees. Okay, so this is what this dial is so amazing. And you can see anytime they come together, like they look like a conjunction, they can be conjunct, square, or in opposition. Okay, so look at this symmetry, this mirror imaging. This is the whole, I suppose, midpoints actually arose from the whole point of Antisha. Okay, where there's mirror imaging across from the signs. So let's have a look what happened. When was the last time that the Sun and Saturn were together at a ingress, a Capricorn ingress? It actually was in 1664, so it's 350 years ago. It's a complete cycle. Now if Saturn was exactly 30 years cycle, that would be 360 years, okay? But because it's not exactly 30 and it's 29.5, it actually, for it to do the complete cycle, it takes 353 years. Well, look at this. Look at this stellium. I mean, this whole cluster of the Sun, Saturn, Neptune, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus, all in the sign of Capricorn. Now, I cast this chart for London, and it means all this cluster is in the 4th house. Now, in mundane charts to do with countries, the 4th house is the land and the people. And the weather. This is where you get the most influence on mundane earthly charts. And Pluto, even though it wasn't discovered in 1664, it was still there and happened to be on the mid-heaven over London at that time. We know Pluto is the planet of death and transformation and destruction. Okay, so this was the Capricorn Ingress, which was 90 days before the bubonic plague took hold in London. Okay, apparently the plague started in the east, possibly in China, but it spread all over Europe. Now the amazing thing is, this is what the doctors used to dress in when they used to visit people. It's called the plague doctor. A really scary image when you look at it. So let's have a look. When I put that chart, that Capricorn solstice chart, on the solar maps, look at this. look at all those planets that were in Capricorn and Aquarius. They're all over Europe and Africa. Okay, you can see that the Sun conjunct Saturn is going right through the London there, and Pluto on the MC, and also parts of Europe where it was took hold as well. The fact that it was supposed to have come from Asia, you can still see that the actual Sun, Saturn, and Pluto were also rising in that area. Okay, so this is absolutely amazing. I love this type of research. Let's have a look at declination. Now, if you've never seen this before, I'll just speak about it really quickly. I mean, I go through this in my courses, obviously, but declination, because our Earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees, the Sun, in terms of declination, we have 0 as our equator, and then we have plus 23 degrees, and at plus 23 degrees is the Tropic of Cancer. Okay, that's the highest the Sun will go in terms of degrees. And then in the southern hemisphere, or southern declination, we have minus 23.5, and you can see that there's a Capricorn. I've just put the Capricorn in there, and that is the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so let's have a look. This is what I've cast for 1664. You can see that in December, which would be at the Capricorn Ingress on the solstice, you can see that all these planets are all together in southern declination because they're all in the sign of either Capricorn or Aquarius, which happen to be, in terms of weather patterns, the colder signs in the zodiac, and parallels are often more powerful than conjunctions. So not only have we got planets in conjunction, but we also have them parallel in declination. So let's have a look at the next slide. I just wanted to show you the sine wave that we go through. You'll see these on your map. So the Tropic of Cancer, and then it goes through the equator, and the Tropic of Capricorn below. Okay, so let's have a look at, I just want to show you the concentration of the planets in this year in 1664, all here in southern declination. This is just 1 month before, 9 months, one season before the bubonic plague took hold in Europe. And apparently 15% of the population perished just in England. So let's have a look, and it was brought by fleas that lived on the backs of rats, so it's pretty gross. And if you saw what people went through and how quickly they died, it was pretty horrific. Now let's have a look at what it looks like. The chart from today looks a little bit different because we didn't have as much clustering in Capricorn, but the Sun and Saturn conjunction is actually going through Indonesia, Hong Kong, and into China, okay, this year. The other thing is it's also on setting over London and Spain and parts of Africa, okay, rising over this part, over the top part of Canada, and on the midheaven going through these, close to Washington DC, but also through South America. Now the interesting is, someone just reminded me that there was have been some cases of the bubonic plague in Madagascar. There's trouble, some cases have been found in Africa this year. So, but the planetary alignments are not as concentrated, obviously, as they were in 1664, as you just saw on the charts. So for us in 2017 and next year, we do have, at the moment, we have Pluto and Saturn both in Capricorn, and that is again in the southern declination. So we've just had this is now, Saturn is a cold planet. It is the coldest planet and now in Capricorn, in the coldest sign. Most severe winters happen when that is the case, and Pluto is there as well. And we can see this cluster. There have been really cold patterns all over the world. We've had, even in Australia, well, Melbourne, we've had only the other day massive hailstones. There's snow everywhere in parts of Europe, early winters. Now, I think it's only going to get worse because we're going to get Mars. Mars is the red line. Mars will be going also into southern declination during next year. It will be out of bounds. Out of bounds is when a planet goes beyond the declination of the sun. And see here, that's actually the point of minus 23.5. You can see that Mercury went out of bounds just earlier on in November, but Mars will go out of bounds in sometime in July. Okay, now we can see also that at the moment Jupiter has been going through Scorpio, but then it will move into Sagittarius and eventually will also get into Capricorn. So we'll have another planet in the cold sign. So let's have a look at that. I just wanted to show you when that will be. At the time that also Jupiter comes into the planetary alignment, this is looking more like 1664. We've got the Sun, Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto in the cold sides of Capricorn at the Ingress. Let's have a look. Oh, I didn't have a chart for that, but if you continue this one, they will all join together on that chart. So thank you for listening. That's just some information about how these alignments influence not only us as people, but weather patterns, the stock market, situations like plagues, because you can see that concentration of energy in one part of the world, and that's how it works. Now, people born on these days, you can imagine the intensity they will have in that focus on one sign. These sort of people are the people that will never be forgotten because they stand out. So thank you for listening. My website is Astrology for Gan Traders. I've just come back from Egypt, so I wanted to put that picture in. I'll be doing amazing things for 2018. We'll be writing a new book and new courses. So thank you for listening, and hopefully that your 2018 will be a wonderful time for you. There's actually some really nice planetary alignments that I think will give a boost to a lot of people. If you're interested, go to my website. I have got a OMS planetary indicator for next year. And thank you for listening.